Every time I turn on the mic, I always think of the Eddie Murphy movie Showtime. He goes, it's showtime. It's showtime, New York Giant fans. It's the get right game. The get right game. I gotta like this. It's showtime, New York Giant fans. Hold on. I got too many windows open here. Yeah, it's the get right game. We already got Mike Leake in the room. We already got Todd Taylor in here. We already got Jeff sitting in there saying hello. Hello. Hello again. We're gonna be playing the vaunted Arizona Cardinals. I always like preferring to them as the St. Louis Cardinals, just to screw with people, because most people don't remember that they were initially in St. Louis before the Rams. This is the game that there's no excuses in this game. If you are a better, if the Giants are what we think they are, and which is going to be maybe not a playoff team, but a good enough team, this is a team you should beat. This is even on the road. You're 4.5 points. I think you're 3.5 points favorites now. But even on the road right now, you should beat this team. What's up, OG? OG's in the house. And we got just for OG. Mount up. We're mounting up today. We're riding on the Arizona Cardinals. We're going into the desert. We're going to end this. We also have Jeff Newman saying, Timmy. We got the Waller coming in strong, saying good morning, Tim. Let's see. Mike Lee also says, wow. See if the Arizona did its homework on the defense. That's what you have to be a little bit concerned about, that Arizona did their homework. That the blueprint for beating the Giants really has not been like a shocker from week one. It's kind of been the blueprint for the entire, for the last like 5 years. Not 5 years. Last time, I'd say like 3 years. You know, you put the rush in the face, you get them behind, you get the Giants behind, you go after Daniel Jones, you rattle the quarterback, you take away the running game, and then you play defense. And then you try, and then you score. And then you try to score off turnovers. I mean, that has been the blueprint to beat the Giants for like the last 3 years, 4 years, going back to the coach the coach's name who we shall not speak of. That's what it is. At the end of the day, that's what it is. So you're hoping Arizona. I mean, listen, Arizona's off. We got Joshua Dobbs in the game. I mean, he's got like 400 career passing yards. As a defense, the Giants should regulate. The Giants should take this over. The Giants should. You know, like I used the old term, and I know it's not politically correct anymore, but you got to knock their dicks in the dirt. That's what the defense needs to do. A statement game. And I love it because everyone talked to me about a week ago and said, well, you know, this is week one's the most important game of the season. And I said to people, well, if we lose week one, what is week two then? Oh, it's the most important game of the season. Arizona offense does not scare me. Well, you got Rondell Moore, you got James Conner, you got a couple receivers that could test our rookie corners. But if you want to put this out there, and you want to make this work, this is what you need to do. This is the game you need to win. This is the game that you need to say, listen, okay, that 40-0 game was nothing. That it was an aberration. Maybe we're not on the same level as the Dallas Cowboys yet. Maybe we're not on the same level as the Philadelphia Eagles yet, but we are above the level of someone such as the Arizona Cardinals. And of course, I'm looking for sound effects. One day it'll get labeled. One day, but not that one day's not today. Some people are asking where Rob is. Rob is homesick. He has his period, so he can't come out and play. So I had a guest coming on, but he's running late, I guess. Everyone runs late, except for me. I'm always on time. We've got James Williams saying, hit that like, but make sure you hit the likes up. Likes really do help the channel. I've noticed that. Our videos have gone up exponentially as there's people started liking. So please like. Salute to the chat. We got Zach Attack saying, I'm worried that Daniel Jones will not help his offensive line. When we have an O-line that is not that good, the quarterback needs to help the O-line by not holding the ball 5 seconds, and the NFL averages 3. Here's the thing with the is it Dom? No, it's not Dom. Here's the thing with the offensive line. The offensive line had a bad game. I don't blame Daniel Jones for what happened on Sunday, because the offensive Sunday night, because offensive line had a bad game, had a horrid game, had a horrific game. I blame the coaches. I blame the offensive coordinator. I blame the head coach. You see that the Dallas Cowboys are pinning back their ears and coming after Daniel Jones, but you continuously try to develop a deep passing attack. That made zero sense. You were literally moving the ball with Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones running the ball. I don't care how you win games, but you were literally running the ball. You saw that there was no way we were going to have a sustained passing attack, even in that weather, but you made zero halftime adjustment to go to the run. I talked about back in the 80s, 86, and said you had Ron Earhart as the offense coordinator and Bill Belichick. They were masters at making halftime adjustments. Andy Reid is a master right now in making halftime adjustments. Same way, sometimes so is Pat Carroll, outside of that one play in the Super Bowl. That was just a stupid call. But you see something wrong, you don't leave your quarterback out to dry. And this is before it was 25-0. You don't do this. And to all the people that are blaming Bobby Johnson, to all these people, could it potentially be the talent we have is not as good as we think the talent we have is? We have the same talent we had last year. We have the same, except outside of JMS, and it just didn't go well. Maybe we just don't have the talent on the offensive line. Keith, I sent you the link. All right, Keith, I'll send you the link in a minute. Hold on. I'll send you Keith, I'm going to send you. Keith, I sent it through vis-a-vis Twitter, the DM on Twitter. And everyone talks about how wonderful the Giant defensive line coach is, how he's made Dexter Lawrence a better player. We've had one of the most poor run-stopping defenses on the defensive line for the last 3 years. The Cowboys ran for over 100 yards. Kayvon Thibodeau has been missing in action. And they'll point to Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence was doing well beforehand. Dexter Lawrence had a better season. But also, if you want to do that vis-a-vis, you can point to Andrew Thomas for Bobby Johnson. It's the easiest excuse to blame the coordinator. We did this in the Coughlin era. We fired Gilbride. We fired what's his name, Perry Fuel. We fired then the next year we fired Tom Coughlin. Then the next year we fired Jerry Reese. It's easier to point at everyone else, except for the fact that it's at the top who's drafting these guys and bringing these guys in for the guys to coach. You can coach. Here's the thing. I always say this before. If you have garbage, you can coach garbage, but then garbage may only become trash. And that's still not good enough to protect Daniel Jones. James Williams says, if we lose this game, can we finally admit that Payne Jones was wrong? Yeah, if we lose, if he sucks, sure. Can we all get to agree that if the Giants lose today, the season is more? If the Giants lose today, yes, the season's more or less over. Because if we can't beat the Arizona Cardinals when they have zero quarterback, and we can't get 6-7 sacks, we're gonna have some problems. We better not suck again. You can do it!
Oh no! We suck again.
We're hoping we're not going to suck again. We got Matthew in his house. We got Keith. Keith is supposed to be on the show. Keith, the link is in your DM. I'm going to send it to you in a minute. Hold on. I got to get to it. Matthew says, let's go Giant. Mike Lee says, will the Giants downplay? Oh, wait a minute. I think Keith is coming in. Keith is a device not connected. Keith, you got to connect your device. Keith's getting there. James Williams says, every content creator swears Arizona's garbage losing at 40 at home. A message. Here's the problem with Arizona. Arizona doesn't have an offense. They don't. They have players on offense. They have players that could cause our rookie defensive back some fits. Oh, 100%. But here's the problem with Arizona. Here's the problem with Arizona right off the bat. They have a defense. They got 6 sacks last week against a fairly okay. I think the Washington line is better than our line, but they still got 6 sacks. Let's see here. What's we got? I think Keith's here. I'm here, Tim. Okay. I'm going to get to you in a second, my friend. Is it Dom? No, of course not. Oh, man, I want to hear Rob's rant on Bobby Johnson. I told you Rob is out with his period, so he can't come in right now. He's like a little girl. Tim, all teams have to do is blitz Jones, and he falls. Put the blitz in the middle of his face. Pressure him. I said this in his second season. Put the pressure directly in front of him. Keep the pressure there. Knock him down a couple times. Tom Brady his ass, and that's what I always say. If you want to get Daniel Jones, you Tom Brady him. And what that means is basically is the fact that you just put the rush directly in his face and keep it there and keep it coming. Don't come in from even though he has no pocket awareness from the sides. If you keep it in front of him, he does get a little flustered. Let's see here. What do we got here? Anyone seen Kayvon Thibodeau, aka Casper the Friendly Pass Rusher? What do we got here? Big Todd. Let's see. OG says Kayvon wants to be a fashion model instead of a football player. My only problem with Kayvon Thibodeau, you come in with all this hype. You come with all this. You come up with all this self-generated hype. And I said this the day we drafted him and the day he started talking. Where'd you go, Keith? I'm about to click you in. Well, Keith is going to figure it out. Keith is working on it. I've said this before. You have all this self-generating hype. And I mentioned this after a couple of his press conferences. I said, that's great and all. And confidence is great. But if you do not perform, if you don't get your 17 sacks and you don't have a good season, the media and the fan base is going to turn on you quickly. And kind of that's what's already happened. You already having people calling him a bust. Same with Evan Neal. And the scary part is, what happens if Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau don't work out? We're going to drop in Keith. I think Keith is ready. Keith is backstage. He's primping his hair. Hold on. Let me get to a pimp name. Slip back. Tim, I don't know if you saw the video, but there was a video on Twitter about Shady saying Daniel Jones shouldn't be making the bank. He should be working for a bank. I always say he should sell insurance, not a bank. I think Daniel Jones can be a backup quarterback. I just don't think he's going to carry a franchise. I think he can be in the NFL. I think he can play in the NFL. I think he has the skill sets, but I think we have too many things that are wrong. We have Keith, a.k.a. Mr. Warzone, dropping in for a little bit here today. We're going to drop in Keith. Keith, can you hear us? Keith, can you hear us? Keith. Keith. This is like a radio show. We have Keith from the Bronx here. Keith, are you there? Are you there? Okay, we're going to go on to the next caller. Keith. All right. Well, Keith, you may want to try to log out and log back in again. Because we're getting nothing from you, Keith. Keith. All right, we're gonna take Keith out for a second. Maybe he's trying to work on his technical difficulties. Let me send him a link vis-a-vis Twitter. Let's see here. Jose G says we need to stick with the run game plan. That's what we need to do. We need to run. That's all we need to do. Plain and simple. Run the damn ball. Run it effectively. Todd says they scored against a good D, and also Arizona did put up a score as well. I can't hear. Oh, okay, Keith is still working. No worries. All right, Keith is still working on it. Let's see what else we got here. Arizona actually scored and made it a game. They did. OG says Daniel Jones doesn't have the awareness and intelligence of Tom Brady. He's still scared to throw the ball downfield. I don't know if he's scared to throw the ball downfield. And honestly, Tom Brady's awareness, especially towards the going back to 2007 and 2011, like I said, you could rattle Tom Brady. Any NFL quarterback can get. Let's say this right off the bat. Any NFL quarterback can get rattled. This is not something just for Daniel Jones. This is something that's not just something that he's got an issue with. It's just the problem is when he gets rattled, turnovers occur. Fumbles. What do you have? 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions? I know all the fumbles were recovered, but you had 5 turnovers. That can't happen. What's up, James? My chat froze. Todd says 15 years ago, someone should have made Jones a tight end. Nah, because they did that with Matt Jones out of Oregon. They made him a wide receiver when he came up with Jacksonville. Drugs more derailed his career than more anything else. Mike Lee says, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. Oh, we're having technical difficulties? Let me make sure my Wi-Fi is good. Oh, no, that's OG Knockout says, run. Why did they pay him then? Honestly, why did you pay him then? If you're not going to run the ball effectively, why would you pay him? We're going to try to get Keith on here in a minute again. Let's see here. Debat says, if we manage to have a top 3 pick, do we take a quarterback? If Daniel Jones sucks, yes. You got to pull in Arizona, like a Kyler Murray and Josh Rosen. You got to take a quarterback. You got to eat the money for Daniel Jones for the next 2 seasons in 2024 and 2025 and go from there. Let's see if we got Keith in here. Keith, can you hear us now? Keith? Where do we go? We're just going to have a musical interlude here. My lovely I want to know. You know what Keith needs to do? Mount up. Keith, I think you're still having some technical difficulty, my friend. You're there, but you're not there. All right, we're going to go back to Keith in a minute, see if he can fix his issues. We got the Zach Attack saying, if the Giants blow the Cardinals, how long till the Giants content creators say the Giants are the best team in the NFL and DJ is the second coming of Joe Montana? Oh, that's easy. If the game ends at 7:42 our time, Eastern Standard Time, I would say by 7:43. We need a bounce back today. Big time, that's for sure. Jose says Shady's before. I saw that with Shady. He did see that before the season. I did see that. We got Glenn coming in. I don't care what everyone says. You get $40 million a year and make plays because all you do is lose on. If you can't put you at least 20 up, if you end the game 40-20, I never would have blamed DJ. Here's my thing with Daniel Jones. If the Giants would have just scored. And, you know, I wouldn't, to your point, if the Giants lost 40-20, I would be upset, but I wouldn't be as upset. You're right. I wouldn't be. But here's the whole thing. Like I said, to me, it was the lack of adjustment of the offensive game plan that caused a lot of these issues for Daniel Jones. You know me, I will go after Daniel Jones ad nauseum if I think he is the rookst of all evil. But the problem is this. You didn't help the kid out any. And he's not even a kid anymore. He's in his 5th year. You didn't help the guy out any. And also, he didn't help his own cause. I've said this before. You know, you got you got Eli. You know, you got Eli Manning. Red left, 53's the mic, 53's the mic. And do check. You can check out of place. It's okay. It's allowed. You see 9 up. You see 9 up front, and you know it's a long pass play. You could check to a run. That's okay. It's allowed. It really is. It's really cool. Todd says, whoa. First, we put Danny DeVito, the actor. We put the actor on DJ, either quarterback, either way. We got Big Glenn coming in. The next few games we'll be telling the league has been season plus on the Giants. Dallas knew everything Dable and the Giants were going to do. You're not wrong. We've said this before. The league gathers film. The league cultivates film. The league takes that film. The next year, you have to adjust. 2023 is an entirely different season from 2024, vis-a-vis vice versa. So you're right. The league does adjust. And I don't know if they figured out the Giants, because I think the Giants tried to go a different direction, but I think they should have just tried to go back to what they were. Let's try adding Keith one more time here. Keith.
Tim, can you hear me, Tim?
I can hear you now, Keith.
My apologies. No, I will learn. I will go to some YouTube channels and understand how I am supposed to enter StreamYard. My apologies.
No worries. Usually you have to activate the microphone.
Oh yeah, that would be helpful. You're right.
That's usually step one. Of those that don't know, Keith, he is also known as Mr. Warzone. He is a content creator, not only of Giants, he also does some hip hop stuff mainly. He's going back into the Giants content creation. He's been doing some great videos. He's been doing some good content. So we wanted to make sure we had him on for a little bit, because we thought getting a different perspective, because like I said, Rob is out sick today with his period. So we have to make sure we had a little bit of a co-host for a little bit here and get some unfiltered Giant talk about these Arizona Cardinals and what we're going to look at and what we're going to see this Sunday. So Keith, I'm gonna ask you. I'm put you on the hot seat right away.
Let's go.
Right away. I'm not even gonna wait.
That's what I'm talking about.
What's gonna happen at 7:45 p.m. today? What's gonna happen at the end of this game? What's the score? What are we doing here?
When I listen to commentators, pundits speak on what predict about what's going to happen with the New York Giants. Anytime a pundit goes against the New York Giants, I am automatically upset with that particular pundit. Now, for the very first time, and as long as I've been a Giants fan, I am going to put myself on the line and say that the New York Giants is probably going to lose today.
Wow. Okay. We're going to get that for a second, but I want to answer a James Williams question. James Williams' question says, should we draft Sanders from Colorado? He showed more heart last night than Jones ever has. You know what I love about the whole Colorado situation, Keith? You know what I think it's funny?
Okay,
You know
what's that?
This is what it reminds me of. And like I said, I played ball going back to Pop Warner. And Pop Warner I don't know if they still do this anymore. They used to have, when new players came in, they used to have almost like a draft. And that draft would be if the new players came in, the coaches sat in a gymnasium and they would draft the players and all that. But the only players that didn't go into the draft were the sons of coaches. And what happened was, if you had a good football player, you used to go to the kid's dad and say, "Hey, listen, come on, we want to be the head coach. Oh, and bring Bobby with you," because that's allowed. And I'm not saying Deion is not being, I'm not saying he's not coaching well in Colorado, but I'm saying if you take a look at his record back at when he was at the other school with his son, and now basically you basically used a transfer portal to rebuild Colorado, and he brought over his son as quarterback. Here's the problem: unless Deion's got another kid in the pipeline, I don't know how well Colorado's going to play next year. That's all I'm saying. I know that's non-Giant related.
No problem. And, I appreciate the question. Now, the thing about Deion Sanders, in my opinion, yes, his son is going to go somewhere at some point. But just like Brian Daboll is attempting to establish a culture as far as a winning culture, a culture of confidence in self, okay? Blocking out everybody else, blocking out the blinders. Me being a boxing champion, I understand stepping into the middle of the ring. I listen, fans are screaming everywhere, okay? Screaming at you, screaming everywhere. I developed the ability to only focus on my coach. I mean, I don't hear nobody else in the ring but my coach, okay? And the thing about that is the Giants must be like that as well, and Colorado must be like that as well moving forward. So it's about establishing a culture, in my opinion.
Now boxing, of course, is an individual sport. There's only you and the other guy in the ring, and you always listen to your trainer. You always listen to your cut man. You always listen to everyone else. I was never big into boxing. I'm always been big into MMA because I know a lot of MMA fighters. I know people that run MMA gyms. So it's definitely a different nuance than having to have 53 other guys be on the same page. But to a parallel with boxing, if you take a look at it, you still need to have the training, you still need to have the drive, you still need to have that something deep inside that keeps you going. I always said this before, and I've said this in every sports, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And then that plan usually goes out the window. Do you think the Giants have, and I know you think they're going to lose, but do you think they have the mental fortitude vis-a-vis the team itself and potentially the whole entire coaching staff to move forward if, God forbid, we lose today?
This is the thing. Let me pull back a little bit on that. I think that the Giants potentially might lose. However, I don't want them to lose. Okay. I don't want them to lose. Okay. But the thing is, me being on a boxing team, me being on a basketball team, even, all right, boxing teams, people think a lot of times, yes, it is an individual sport with boxing. However, you have boxing teams, okay? And your team is sitting there who looking at you and rooting for you. At the same time, this same team train with you every day, so it's literally a team, even though you're stepping in the ring by yourself. Okay. So, I mean, as far as your question, with the confidence level, my thing is, it depends on Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones went to the bench and put his head down. Okay. I can't see a Tom Brady doing that. I can't see a Mahomes doing that, a Josh Allen, I can't see these marquee franchise type of quarterbacks in which you are investing almost $250 million on, going to the bench and putting their head down. Now, if you notice in the photo of Daniel Jones putting his head down, right next to Daniel Jones on the bench was number 88. Okay. And he slouched his head down. Now, that's bad leadership, in my opinion. In understanding leaders on the battlefield or leaders in the ring of fire or leaders on a basketball court, baseball, wherever, the team is looking toward that leader. They voted that leader in. Okay, so
Well,
in my opinion,
I have to just correct you on one thing there. I've seen Tom Brady do it.
Sure.
I've seen Tom Brady pout I've seen Tom Brady, and again, this is the kinder, gentler Tim. But back in the day, what Tim would say, I saw Tom Brady cry like a 4-year-old girl on the sidelines after a loss. So I mean, I don't think that's I don't think that's just Daniel Jones. I think there are plenty of quarterbacks that have done that over the season. Yes, but as an optics from that photo, it's not a good optic. But I'm also going to say I can't. I can't. Like I said, I can fault Daniel Jones on a lot of shit. I mean, I really can. But I can't give you that one. That one I can't give you.
No problem, Tim. And I'm totally with you. And guess what? You learn something new every day. I didn't know that, Tim. So hey, maybe there is some hope for Daniel Jones. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't see. I didn't see Eli Manning doing anything like that. I seen Iron Man strong Eli Manning go through immense pressure, immense dropped, hit, bad offensive line. You name it. I mean, and the man, no matter what, no, he has not had the style points and, like others may want him to have. However, when it was time, I mean, the man stood up to the occasion. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I always point back to the San Francisco game, the 2011 playoffs. Everyone keeps forgetting in 2011, the Giants had the worst offensive line in the league. And I said it before, and I've been watching the Giants since '76. And I pointed out the fact that Eli game was the first time that I had ever been truly worried for the health of a quarterback. And I think that's I think that, that was to his testament that he kept. And on that game-winning drive, I mean, he got battered. At one point in time, he got up with his helmet off to the side and grass all through his face. And he gets up and he throws a touchdown. Couple plays later. I mean, I don't think there's a comparison to the mental fortitude in reference to facing adversity right now when you're trying to compare Jones and Eli Manning. I think there's right now there's no comparison. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. We're at 27 likes. Keith, I want to run through a couple questions here right here. We got sitting here on the chat. Jose G says, Tim, do you remember after 2024 the Giants still have a dead cap number for Jones? Actually, that's not true. They have an $18 million dead cap number in 2025. That number has escalated to $22 million after they restructured his bonus. So that's actually going to be, there is a $22 million dead cap number in 2025. Luke says every quarterback can be rattled. Brady thought it was his divine right not to be hit. I don't disagree. Jose G says 43 points, 43 people in chat, only 13 likes. Todd Taylor throws out, says Omaha. We always got to love that. James Williams, every quarterback can be rattled, but Jones looked rattled in simple interviews. We got the Admiral Mutombo. We salute you, Admiral. Fans claiming Kayvon's a bust already, had red flags pre-draft when the man was pushing cryptocurrency and businessman vibes throughout the interview process. Keith, Mr. Thibodeau, I did a video yesterday asking if he's going to be a bust or kind of seeing if he was going to be a bust. And I went through a couple things, and some of the things I found worrisome about Kayvon was when coming out of Oregon, I always thought he was going to play strong against the run. I always thought he was going to have that ability to be, in the guise of a tuck, of a Humaniora, of a Strahan. And I think he should be an every down, hand to the dirt defensive lineman, defensive end, because of the fact that he's not very versed in coverage. But his pass rushing skills, I've said it before, reminds me of O'Shane Ximines. When O'Shane Ximines came out of Old Dominion, he had 10 sacks, and he relied on his speed and basically one move. And I said, when we drafted him, I said, we're going to have to coach him up because he has the natural ability, but he doesn't have the repartee of pass rushing moves. And when Kayvon Thibodeau came out, I got a report from a former scout, which I did the video last week. And some of the biggest issues were the fact that they didn't think he had that initial burst, that he relied too much on talent against undersized players and players that were probably going to be working at Home Depot, and that he was not going to be able to bull rush or push people around in the NFL. And if he didn't start working on some proper pass rushing techniques, his sack total was probably not going to be extremely high. Now, what are your thoughts about Kayvon? Everyone remembers the last 3 games of the season. Nobody wants to talk about the first 14. He had one bad game, and one bad game does not define a career. But what do you think of Kayvon right now?
I am concerned about Kayvon. I really want Kayvon to be the player that us as a Giant nation would want him to be. Okay, we are a defensive nation. We are a nation that we want to smash mouth and take it to your quarterback. So we were lusting, if I can say that word, for a player like Kayvon Thibodeau, and right now, am I concerned? Yes, I am concerned. We had a whole season to see Kayvon Thibodeau. We have seen the likes of a Jerry Reese draft a Justin Tuck, Human Yura. We have seen the hype of these type of players, and we have seen them produce. We talking about boots to the ground from the gate, So, hey, that's the way I feel. I'm not sure about Kayvon. I want to see how he looks today. That's my opinion on Kayvon.
All right, let's go run through a couple more of these. Mike Lee says DJ knows what checkdowns are. The thing is, he cashes them every week. Mike Lee. Hey-o. We also have James William Todd Taylor. 52's the mic. 52's the mic. 52's the mic. Red left. 47-2. You got to have everything. OG Knockout says Daniel Jones, Rex Grossman are the same to me. At least Rex Grossman throws the ball downfield. Tim, Daniel isn't helping the team either. Daniel is trash. I am wrong. I'll take that smoke. I don't compare Rex Grossman to Daniel Jones because right now, honestly, Rex Grossman made a Super Bowl. Rex Grossman won playoff games that went to a Super Bowl. So I'm not going to make that comparison. I think they're two different style quarterbacks. I think if you look at the physical attributes of Rex Grossman, they don't compare to what the physical attributes are of Daniel Jones. So I can't. That's OG. I love you, man, but let's think of a better quarterback we can compare him to. Jose G says, Tim, remember one thing I said from the beginning that he can't read defenses, and that's why he can't audible out of plays. You're not wrong. Glenn Knoll says that he is the 5th year DJ and has to self-adjust. Great quarterbacks do this. The problem I have with this, Keith, this is year 5. This is year 5. I mean, by year 5, you would think that we would have moved to a different level. Do you think there is another level for Daniel Jones in this season?
All right, can I ask you this? And I'm answering your question, but I want to counter question that, and you don't have to answer. But in year 5 of Eli Manning, I would say more than 50% of Giant Nation would say, yeah, this is a franchise quarterback moving forward. I would say, we are probably maybe 40% to 60% on Daniel Jones voting Daniel Jones out. What do you think about that?
Well, my thing is with Eli Manning in his career, he plateaued. He plateaued from, if you take a look at it, because you really can't say year 5 because year 5 is when he won a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, year 4 is when he won a Super Bowl. So most Giant fans will tell you he plateaued in 2006 when he was 8-8. And he had 24 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. And then that Super Bowl season, he was 23 touchdowns and 20 interceptions. So by 2027, I think by 2007, I remember a lot of Giant fans wanted to dump Eli Manning. And Eli Manning wasn't the answer, and he wasn't going to be the franchise quarterback because his numbers after 2025 to 2027 were almost eerily similar. They were 24 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, 24 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, 23 touchdowns, 20 receptions, 3,700 yards, 3,200 yards, 3,300 yards. So it wasn't until Eli had that magical run in the playoffs that I think he turned around and became the darling of New York because he won him a Super Bowl. And then his career progressed and went up. Then he slid down and then they brought in the Macabadoodoo, and he was able to reinvent Eli into a more of a West Coast style offensive player. And he started having, these 4,000-yard seasons. He had one season where he should have been the MVP over Cam Newton. But I think it's different because I don't think Daniel Jones has ever shown that progression. I think Daniel Jones kind of had his one good rookie season. He didn't plateau. He fell off the boat for 2 years. And then he had an average season, which was more like his first season. So I don't think a lot of people right now are looking at it saying it's Eli Manning-esque. And like I said, I think at least that 2007 season, I would say at least 60% of that fan base wanted to get rid of Eli Manning before they made that magical playoff run.
So, and you made all of your points were spot on.
Of course,
and they really, really are all the time. I'll be listening to you and people be asking you questions. I'm like, man, he is sharp. I mean, rapidly. Anyway, all right. So when my question, right, my counter question to you was about Eli. After what I said was, by the time year 5 in Eli's era, did we know what we had in a franchise quarterback? And I believe the answer was yes, because we won the Super Bowl in 2000, and we in the year before in his 4th year. Okay, right. And so I got to stop you right there, sure.
Because Eli Manning in 2007 didn't become Eli Manning until basically 2008, only because of the fact that, like I said, his 2007 season wasn't that great. And honestly, 2008, he only threw for 3,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. It wasn't until he got to 2009, 2010, 2011, that magical Super Bowl. I mean, he had almost 5,000 yards in 2011. People forget about that. Mm-hmm. So he really didn't turn the corner and become Eli Manning until 2009. He was just known as the big play guy, the big play drive, and going, and taking his team and winning a Super Bowl. But I would say until 2 years after the Super Bowl did the chatter start to die about Eli Manning not being the franchise quarterback.
Well, we forget that Eli Manning he made history as far as being the number 1 red zone quarterback in the league as far as that go-to guy. And, Eli, he won the Super Bowl in his 4th year. By his 5th year, we're saying, okay, we have a quarterback here. And then, if you remember, he won another Super Bowl. But the thing was, the Giants were the most injured team in the league for about 5 years. That's another thing. I'm talking about completely depleted almost all the way around. And to speak to Daniel Jones, when you say Daniel Jones had that mediocre season, yes, we were saying the conversation before that particular season with Daniel Jones, which was last season, the conversation was basically, is this guy a NFL quarterback? Okay, so he gives you a mediocre season, and now we're like, oh, okay. He's okay. Yeah, maybe he is an NFL quarterback, and he is an NFL quarterback. But the thing is, is he the quarterback for us moving forward? That's the question. And I argue family. I argue with people on Twitter, everywhere, and for Daniel Jones. But now, listen, man, I seen him against Philadelphia, against competent competition. I seen him against the Cowboys. I seen him against Minnesota, which was ranked, the last defense in the league. You know what I mean? So, and we're still questioning Daniel Jones after 5 years. Not after 5, but going on 5 years, or this is 5th year. Come on.
All right. Well, let's get back to the chat here. Mike Glenn says, Brian Dable had DJ out there getting killed at the end of the 4th quarter. Blow, so we could say we did some good things at the end. It didn't make sense to have him out in the 4th quarter. It did not make sense for Andrew Thomas to play in that game after he tweaked his hamstring. It wasn't worth it. Andrew Thomas right now is still a game time decision. James Williams says, if a black quarterback was in his 5th year and looked like Jones, no giant content creator would support him. Facts over feeling. Well, that's not true, James. There's one guy. there's one guy that would support him if he was playing well enough. We're not going to say who he is, but he's dashing. He's handsome. He's got a sarcasm shirt on right now. Joe Rev in his house. I think RZEROB is sulking. He said the Giant game was the most important game in Giant history. I told you Rob has his period. He can't come on right now. Just leave poor Rob alone. He's sitting there right now crying in bed. We had Blackbird said, why was DJ still in game with all the starters on the bench late in the game? I don't know. That's actually a great question. And don't forget to hit the like button. We got 60 something people in here. We got 34 likes. Make sure you hit the like button. OG says, I agree with him. He said he might lose today. I'm just sick of watching Daniel Jones. I don't disagree with that. Blackbird also says the second interception was 100% on Jones. He is in his 5th year. The first interception to me was we've talked about the first interception to Saquon Barkley. Keith, and I don't want to get into this because I kind of want to get into the Cardinals. We've talked about it before. Daniel Jones has had a propensity since day one to throw his wide receivers into contact. And if we go back to the game, preseason game against Carolina, which I was there, I was standing on the sidelines. He had Waller in a position where he threw him the ball. Waller was kind of in the lone off to the middle of the field, going across the field to the to the left sideline. But there was a safety coming up, and he threw the ball to Waller, and Waller got walloped. He did the same thing. He missed the fact, I believe it was Paris Campbell was on the outside. His defender turned in to place Barkley, and there was no one looking at Campbell, at Mr. Zero. Nobody was even looking at him, and he threw the ball into Barkley, who automatically was hit because at that point in time the corner had come up and just put a wallop on him. And you cannot continuously, and he's done this since his entire career, you cannot continuously throw your receivers into contact because of the fact that last year we got away with it. Because of the fact I've said it before, the football is weird, it bounces weird. One year you're going to get all the bounces. The next year, last year, like I said, if that would never have been an interception last year, would have fallen harmlessly to the ground. The other interception he had on the sideline would not have been an interception. They would have overturned it. But the football bounces weird every year. And I get concerned that in his 5th year, he is still throwing guys into contact.
Right. And I've been watching you since you have donned us in the Giants Nation with your great content. And one thing you have been stressing, Tim.
You don't have to suck up. You're already on.
No. But the thing is, I just want to be real. No, so serious. Because I look for Giant content when Giant content was not really out there like that. It was scarce. And you would come on and you were refreshing to log on to every morning. So I have to give you your flowers. Seriously.
I appreciate that.
So, and this all correlates. So by me listening to you all the time, and the reason why I'm telling you that is because by me listening to you, you would always say, Daniel Jones is missing his spots. Daniel Jones is missing his man. And then you would not only say that, you would actually go to the games and say, listen, I'm not being biased here, but listen, I was at the games. I'm at the game, and listen, Daniel Jones missed a number of opportunities. So I would say, now listen, I wasn't at the game, so I'm not seeing what you saw. So I myself would analyze what you were saying. And listen, I'm analyzing what you're saying, and I'm looking on the screen as far as from what I can see. And what I like about Twitter is a lot of times they're putting these videos out there to where you can analyze what exactly happened from various camera angles. And Daniel Jones is missing his spots. Now, if Daniel Jones did not throw that ball to Saquon Barkley like he was not supposed to, and he was supposed to hit that wide receiver in the flat, that would have been a momentum shifter. That's what a leader does. That's all I'm talking about as far as the technical things, Tim.
Well, like I said, I definitely think it was the wrong read. I don't know if I don't think he saw the corner turn and go towards Barkley. I think a smart quarterback at that point in time, I think a Mahomes, Josh Allen, you double pump, and then you hit Campbell on the fly. Because Campbell, there was no one in front of Campbell. There was There was nobody in front. We from our vantage point, from our seats, we can basically see everything. We got a super chat from the Zack Attack. DJ is trying to be Manning to Austin Collie. That's a good one, Zack Attack. Also want to thank all the people that put in the super chats from the last video. Of course, all super chats get donated to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. We had a really good donation day. I think it was Tuesday's live stream. So I do want to thank all the people that went out and reached out. Like I said, I always feel that it's easier to take money than to give back money. And like I said, what we do on here is we always try to help, wherever we can. Sometimes it's not a lot each month, but like I said, we have really good days like we had the last week. So I do want to appreciate and give a big shout out to everyone that did contribute to the super chats to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital last week. So big applause to all you people. Let's see here. Let's see what Mr. Bruce says. Can we please just let these next 3 weeks ride out? Hope truthfully we aren't good. The team will be built halted because of DJ's contract. Plus you want a rookie behind Neal. At this point in time, I don't know what I want behind Neal, because I don't know what Evan Neal is yet either, but we're going to get to Evan Neal. We're going to get to the Arizona Cardinals. I want to run through these chats. Let's see here. Mr. Alvarez says, Dable keeps thinking Jones is Josh Allen. They are not out of the same guy. Jones ain't even half the runner Josh is. Mr. Blackbird also says Josh Allen is a turnover machine. Blackbird says Tyson's saying something has been a plan until they get. I've been saying, I had a football coach used to say that all the time. We all have the best laid plan until you get punched in the mouth, and it's how you deal with getting punched in the mouth that makes you the man you are and the player you are. Because back when I played in the 80s and 90s, it was you are okay to be manly. You were okay. You break something, you don't go out in the game. You don't leave the game. You rub some dirt on it and get back in. I talked about it before. I just rub some dirt on it and go out and play. I talked about how I separated my shoulder in one game. They popped it back in, and the coach said to me, "You're fine. Go back in." And like a moron, I'm like, "Okay." It's just, and people are texting me here. We always say, Josh, what is Jay? He says Giants win 42,069-0. DJ throws for 400 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 9 rushing touchdowns. Mike Lee says this is the type of game the Giants usually play down the competition. It is up to Dabes to get them ready. I would say back in the day, the Giants did have a propensity to playing down to their competition. And hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we could see something today. Jay says Tom Brady is, we're way behind the chat, but Jay says Tom Brady is famous for doing what he did, putting his head down. Jay also says, thank you. Facts. Brad, let's see here. Let's try to get to, let's see. When are we not getting the kinder, gentler Tim? It's the kinder, gentler Tim. It is. I've already told people I'm going to be I am the kinder, gentler Tim. I'm never going to say what I really want to say, but I'm always going to end the sentence with, and stick it up your ass. Guilty. That's not torture. Like, Guilty's in the chat all the time. Mike Glenn says, I think we forget that the majority of the wins looked like last year. Dable takes big risks on 4th downs, bad play calling, going teams' ways, lucky bounces on the ball. Mike is 100% right. We don't stop Jacksonville at the 1 on that last play. We lose that game. We don't. I mean, if that flag is thrown on Darnay Holmes versus Washington, we lose that game. If the Giants, that tie was an ugly tie. And if we wouldn't have went, we could have potentially lost that game as well. I mean, there's so many games last year that came down to one play or the last play of the season. And like I said, the ball, Keith, it's just not going to bounce that way all the time. The ball is shaped, funny for a reason. And that we have to hope that it really goes. Or what does Anthony have to say here? Anthony says, yeah, but Eli's always had the Eli face, winning, losing, or drawing. Mike Lee says, was the photo taken during the game or after? It looked if during not good. It was after the game. The famous photo is what we talk about. Guilty says, you cannot continue to be the voice of reason. I can't continue to be the voice of reason. You're right, Guilty, because you want to know what this? I've said this a million times. My friends always say this. If Tim is the voice of reason, we're all fucked. Because he's usually the one running into the fire with the flag. So yeah. Jay says Eli had the Eli face. Let's see. OG says there is no hope for DJ playing quarterback. Sir, foul player of Brooklyn saying Big Tim. Got Irish Rover saying good morning. Good morning, Irish Rover. How you doing? We got a super chat for a pimp named Slipback. We got to go drop to him because, again, all super chats go to the filter. Children's Hospital. Tim, we are seeing the same thing now with the Vikings. 11 of their wins last year came with 6 or less. They're not sustainable year to year. Hence, I don't want to big paydays this offseason. There is a pimp named Slipback is right. There is a stat, and I forget who came up with the stat. But it shows over the years that if you win an X amount of games by a certain point differential one season and make the playoffs, your odds of making the playoffs the next year is like 30%. And this was a great stat, and we quoted this stat before, and I don't remember where it came from, Keith. I don't remember because I'm just having one of those days. But he's right. We're seeing it right now in Minnesota. Minnesota's offense can score. Their defense still can't stop anybody. But they have the ability to score, but they won all these games last year by these small amounts, these singular plays. And at the end of the day, you cannot continuously do that and expect to have the same results the following season. It's not sustainable. And I don't know if it's the talent issue. I don't know what's going on yet, but I got scared. I'm going to tell you, Keith, I got scared when Shane came out before the season and said directly, it's going to be 3-4 weeks before we know what we have with this team. As a general manager, wouldn't you think that he would know his talent?
Right. And I remember you reiterating that. And it's pretty it's high level scary. I mean, it is high level scary because a good team. I mean, I'm gonna give the Giants the benefit of the doubt. Really, that's why I'm gonna watch this game and the next game, because I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Being granted that we have new players on our team, a lot of new players. So I'm gonna give them. But good teams don't come out like they did prime time. The whole United States looking at you, and you do that. I mean, this is just really hard. Tim, I've literally had dreams about this. I'm waking up like, why am I thinking about the Giants? Why am I thinking about them like this, to where it's hurtful? I'm so sorry, Tim, but I want them to get on course. But am I confident in them? No, I'm not, Tim. I'm not going to sit here and be wishing upon a star all the time. You know, I've been doing that for years. I see what I see. I seen what happened. I don't. But I hope they win.
My Holy King says the Giants just had one bad game, move on. The problem is it's not just one bad game. Even to James Williams' point, you had a bad game in Philadelphia. So you have had 2 games in a row against premier competition that you got blown out. So it's not just it's one bad game. Here's the thing that gets me, my Holy King, and I'm not sure if he didn't just create that title just for me. If you win in Arizona 17-16, 21-17, it comes down to the last minute, I'm just as concerned as losing 40-0 because of the fact that you should put away Arizona. The Giants should, from what they did last season, has how some people were anointed in playoffs, and Daniel Jones, you know, the next Tom Brady / Dan Marino / Joe Montana / Johnny Unitas. Let's give him $160 million. You should beat the crap out of Arizona. I don't care if it's in Arizona. I don't care if it's on fucking Pluto. You should beat Arizona if you are truly the better team, because you have a short week and then you're going to San Francisco. So more than likely, if you lose today, you're going to be 0-3. The season's over. There's not going to be much coming back from this. So this is a game that you need to destroy this game. And it's not just one bad game. It's 2 bad games now in a row. Let's get to some of these other chats over here, Keith. Let's see here. We got DJ. Jeff Newman says DJ is inaccurate on the crossing patterns. Anthony says, let's be clear. Daniel Jones was the only player missing plays to be made. Stop making every play about Daniel Jones. The whole team was garbage. The whole team was garbage. Anthony, I've said this 100% before. The whole team was terrible. The whole team sucked rocks. I was there in the fucking pouring rain. I was there on the field. I was there running the damn flag back and forth on the field. I know the whole team sucked. No one's just blaming Daniel Jones, but they said this all the time. The quarterback gets too much praise when he wins, but he also gets too much blame when he loses.
Woo! Tell him, Tim.
When you lose 40-0, a lot of that I'm dropping on the QB. James Williams. Yes, sir.
You were absolutely correct because you said exactly what I was going to say. I mean, no matter what, Daniel Jones is getting paid, more than everybody on the team. And my thing is, a lot of times, Daniel Jones last season, for instance, put up 15 touchdowns, right? So what I'm saying is you have to equate a lot of the winning to the defense. You have to give them their flowers. And when the defense is winning the game, Daniel Jones is the one getting the praise. So my thing is, because an epic loss like this happened, why wouldn't we look to the leader? Are you kidding me? But I understand your point, and I understand the chat's point. No, really, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
You should look to the leader. Everyone always looked at Eli Manning. Everyone looked at everyone else. Mike Lee says, don't recall, but I bet he red striped Barkley, and that's why the QB made the adjustment. Everyone knows last year, 2 years ago. Mike Lee evidently remembers it. I did a video that was Red Stripe Mon. That basically I said, if you watch Daniel Jones and you watch the red stripe on his helmet, it is usually always locked on the primary wide receiver. And I think that has changed. I don't think does he still red stripe at time? Yes. Is it as bad as it was in the seasons previously? I'm gonna say no. But I am going to say, yes, he does have a tendency to red stripe. We also get the super chat from Jay, because all super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. What I don't want to hear from Shane is we're rebuilding. You paid the quarterback. You didn't pay DJ because there was no way to take less pressure on this season with Shane. Here's the thing I got to say with this and in the rebuild. I think Jay's right, Keith. You paid Daniel Jones. You paid Andrew Thomas. You paid Dexter Lawrence. You paid Graham Gano. You're not paying Xavier McKinney. You've paid your guys. So you're right. You gave someone $160 million. You can't tell me. You really can't. Even if you're in a rebuild, you cannot come out and say we're rebuilding.
As far as that situation, I am really, really concerned about Joe Shane. Listen, you hire a non-football guy who has not played on any level. I'm not sure what level Shane played on. However,
I think he did play.
All right. So they say something about quarterback, right? When high school or something like that.
I always say this: if you played, you played. If you played at high school, and you played, and you understand. And I think he did play at some. I think it was some. He did play. He played quarterback. And
quarterback
at some school. No, at some college in Indiana.
And I'll give him that. So you got into the front. You got into the front office.
He was actually a captain. He was actually the captain of that team. Of his
okay,
life.
I like that. And again, usually when you are the QB, usually they're looking for you to be that leader anyway. And Joe Shane comes in. Joe Shane has never had that particular position as far as being the GM, the overall GM of a team. So we give a rookie GM a chance in a rebuild, mind you. And then not only that, we give a rookie coach a chance in a rebuild. Okay, so all right. So if it's rebuild, is he calling it that, Tim?
He can't. He literally, to the point, you literally can't call. If you paid your quarterback, if you paid everyone else, I think Jay is right. You can't call it a rebuild.
That's true.
If you drafted a quarterback, if you put Daniel Jones on a 1-year contract, then you could have called it a rebuild. But I don't think Shane can call it a rebuild. James Williams says we're losing the first game in Tennessee last season until Saquon turns into Saquon. James is always 100% right. We got the T-Brad in his house. T-Brad says, "Hey brother, bar is open right now." You know the bar is open. I just want to mention, T-Brad, you don't live that far away from me, and I have never gotten an invitation to the T-Brad house. So I hang out with James Williams. I hang out with Big Al. I hang out with Tom. I hung out with Mark Thompson from Barbados. And that's a lot farther than you, T-Brad. Dominic Barber says, good stuff. Dom in his house saying, whiskey on the rocks. Hold the rocks. Dom got walloped the other day playing poker. I guess it would be football in his country. And he's got a shiner because he got clotheslined. Which Dom, I love you, brother. I really do.
Dom.
I love the Dahmer, but you're 3'6". How the hell did you get clotheslined?
Tim is brutal.
I am going to go with you got garden hose.
Tim is brutal.
Dom knows I love Dom. Me and the Dahmer are you know what I've said it before. There are certain people that I've met through this channel that are just they've gone on to a different level of friendship, and I always laughed and said I would never have thought that I would be hanging out with so many different people from YouTube, because I always thought I always thought that was crazy.
Always laughing at you and Dom.
I don't know if you could see this, Keith, but Dom's probably going to get mad at me. That's the Dahmer right now.
I'm always laughing at you and Dom. Dom, I know it's going to be like, no, he did not just do that. I know.
Well, you know what? When you watch back the video, there's the Dahmer on his couch with his black line after he got garden hosed. So, and you know what? I got to give Dahmer credit though, because he is he's a tough little guy. I'm being all serious. He's a tough little guy because of the fact that he plays soccer. I guess it's football, like you said in the UK. And he goes against guys that are, 3-4 times his size. So, I mean, and he continuously comes back and just keeps going. He's like the Energizer Bunny, but a bunny would describe Dom. Mike Lee says lack of starters playing the preseason. I agree. We got the Irish Rover in his house going. There's a contradiction between Tim and the kinder, gentler Tim. I am the kinder, gentler Tim. This is me. I'm seeing all points of view. You know what's funny, Keith? I call it the kinder, gentler Tim, but I literally haven't changed anything. I've just thrown out kinder, gentler Tim, and people are like, "Oh, you're so different." And then other people, I love it because I had people DM me the other day going, "You're no different." They're like, "You're just kinder, gentler."
Tim, after a brutal loss, you know what I do? I'm lying to you not. After a brutal loss, that night, I'm like, I'll go to your channel and I'm like, damn, he didn't drop nothing. I'm like, listen, in the morning, I'm waiting for you. I am waiting for you to go on the attack because I am upset. Like,
you know what? And so many people are like, you didn't really rant. And I said, I couldn't rant because I was hungover. Because we went to a bar. We went to Fridays in Scotch Plains. In Jersey, me and Big Al, and this lovely woman that was there. She was not only doing double pours. I don't know what the hell kind of pours she was doing, and she was giving us double tall drinks, and she was just. I mean, the pour was literally more than 3/4 of rum. I would say a spritz of soda, and then a little bit of ice. And all I remember is at one point in time, I looked at Big L. I was like 3 drinks in, and I'm like, thank God you're driving me back to the hotel, man, because I'm not even sure where the hell I am right now. It was a good time. It's going to be my new hangout after the game. James,
nice.
Let's get a cognac neat with a Heineken. T-Brad says, pause is the whiskey neat. Blackbird says, you can't ignore the issues. No, you really can't ignore the issues. The 49ers will be an interesting game for us. The 49er game, we have to win today.
Right.
There's nothing about this. We have to win today. And if we don't win convincingly, I'll be okay with it. But if we don't win, then there will be a rant.
And I will be waiting to look at it.
Then there will be a rant. All you'll hear from the kinder, gentler Tim is the Twitter sphere, everything else will blow up. Blackbird, we should blow out the Cardinals.
That's what she said.
I think we should, Keith. I really do. I think we should. There should be no. There should be no. This should just be a game from start to finish. You get to the second quarter and you start putting your foot on their throats. Not literally. There's no way you come out after a game like that in which no team has ever done, mind you, ever, okay, in one night, okay,
Okay, as far as stats is concerned, there's no way you come out mediocre and inch out a win against that opponent, that lowly opponent that you're going up against.
You can't come
tomorrow.
out.
Today.
We came out flat against Dallas. You cannot come out flat today. Now, you will not have the same results coming out flat against Arizona than you did against Dallas. I mean, I don't think Arizona is just going to start piling on points if the Giants start flat. I don't think that's going to happen because of their quarterback. I like the kid Toon, who's their backup quarterback. I actually wanted the Giants to draft him because I thought he had eerily similar skill sets to Daniel Jones, and he would be a perfect backup for Daniel Jones after Tyrod Taylor retired or killed when he went into the game to replace Daniel Jones. But you can't, it doesn't have to be a blowout. It doesn't have to be, I don't need a 48-10 win. I just need, even if it's 28-17, 21-10, I don't need a blowout win. I need a convincing win. And that's all I need. That's all the kinder, gentler Tim.
A little bit of confidence going into the 49er game. Just a little bit.
A little bit of confidence because we're staying on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
I do find it interesting that the Giants left on Tuesday to go to Arizona, especially when there's a 2-week trip. Teams don't usually leave that early, so I think they just kind of wanted to, to pull a little Kurt Russell and escape from New York.
Okay.
Omega said water
ran from New York.
I gotta let water seeks it's on its level, but maybe the Giants was just subconsciously into what the media commentators and naysayers already think about them. I don't think so. I don't think any professional athlete, they all block out the noise. They all block out the noise. And look at this way. I get so much crap left and right, and I always block out everybody. So I mean, I'm not even a football player anymore. DJ had 15 touchdowns passes and 7 rushes last season. Yeah, he had 22 touchdowns total. Good morning, Nick. James Williams said Dable and Joe brought themselves an extra 3 years of employment by agreeing to work with Marion Jones. That's potential. I can see that. Let's see here. Jeff says, wouldn't it be a giant thing to do is to lose this game and then turn around and beat the 49ers? Here's my thing, Keith. I'm not scared at all of the offense of Arizona. I have no fear. There are some guys that have big play capability. I like, what's his name? Rondale Moore. I like him a lot. And James Conner is a professional running back. But if I take a look at this offense, you have Joshua Dobbs as quarterback. I'm not frightened. I'm not sitting there saying, and don't forget to like, guys, get up to 50 likes for me, please. Could you do that for me, please? Because I got to go out and buy furniture. The wife is already out buying furniture. She's texting me. I'm buying this furniture because
oh my goodness,
down the road. So.
You gotta love Tim, man. Oh my god, I would be sitting there laughing. You say things like that, and I'd just be sitting there laughing. I'm so glad that I get to communicate with you while you do it real time. You are too much.
You've been DMing me, and we've been DMing each other. I gotta give Keith all the credit in the world. He taught me how to send voice messages.
You're so good.
I thought that was the greatest thing in the fucking world. I'm sitting there now sending him 20 messages a day by voice.
He said, now
I don't have to type anymore. But that would be a giant thing to do, to turn around and lose to lose to the Cardinals and then beat the 49ers. Let's see. What does Blackbird said? Dom, more like Dom ran into a knee. We also have the starters will be rusty. Definitely we should have played them more in preseason, but I'm not going to get back in the preseason. We shouldn't do that. What do we got here going on, my brother? He says the Giants have been doing a terrible job at bringing in and drafting offensive linemen, holding on to players they should let go. Like I said, for all the failures of Bobby Johnson, of all the critics that are going after Bobby Johnson, you got to say the same thing then about the Giants defensive line coach. The Giants have the worst some of the worst run defense on the defensive line in the last 3 years. Last year was no exception. It was off tackle left, off tackle right, off tackle left, up the middle, over the top. That was it. And we couldn't stop anybody. We actually had a better run defense last year when Leonard Williams went out and DJ Davidson came in before he got hurt. Jordan Riley had 2 good plays against Dallas, and the way he was celebrating, you would think he just finished an all-pro career as Aaron Donald.
Where is the famous king of the almost sack?
King of the almost sack.
He's right there. Let's see what Mike Lee has to say. Mike Lee says all Blue Star shopping malls grew up 10 miles from it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's in Scotch Plains. Rant at 4. Mike Lee says rant. We got a 2 for 2 for Mike Lee. He says rant at 7:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Blackbird says the Giants are going to take this game 98-0. Chris says, what Chris says, we'll be willing to bet we don't blow out the Cardinals. I just don't see this O-line holding up enough to a point we score less. Where's the Googler? Where's the Zach attack? Anyone got any? I know Andrew Thomas is a update. But I'd still like to know if we have any updates on Andrew Thomas. It's still 3 hours behind in Arizona, so it's only 8:00 there. So we have to wait and see what happens. Mike Lee also says more like escaping the negative press out of New York. I agree with that. Guilty says, hope your wife is buying kinder, gentler furniture. No, she's at an estate sale. we literally live in the
I cannot take him. He is too funny.
I'm not joking. She's at an estate sale. She is literally rummaging through the house of dead people.
Oh, goodness.
And looking at their furniture.
Oh, goodness. He is too funny.
She bought a chair. So after this show, I have to go load up the truck and drive down to where they are to get this chair. So you could tell by my face, and Keith can't see my face, I am very excited about going to buy this chair. I don't know how to get into the truck, but that's okay. Zach, the Googler. Zach, we were just asking about you. Zach is now the unofficial producer of New York Giants Straight Talk. He just doesn't know it yet. The Giants should bring back Will Hernandez to miss more assignments on the offensive line, bringing down Andrew Thomas. You know, it's funny. I did see that Keith, and I thought that was crazy that some people wanted to trade. I love Mike Lee says it's antiquing. No, Mike, she's shopping in the house from dead people. It's not antiquing. That's what an estate sale is. Somebody dies and someone sells their shit. That's not antiquing. That's technically grave robbing. But we're not going to get into that. But the Giants should bring back Will Hernandez. And that's crazy that some people want to bring back Will Hernandez. And I'm just joking about my wife. It is technically antiquing and she enjoys it. And I'm going to actually be honest. I kind of like doing it myself. We talked about this before, Keith. I think and I did multitudes of videos of it. I think one of Andrew Thomas's biggest issues were those first 2 years was Will Hernandez. It was amazing in year 2. I can't remember if it was year 2 or year 1. I can't remember. I think maybe it was year 1 that when Will went out and Shane Lemieux played for a couple of games. Shane Lemieux was terrible. He's a good run blocker, can't pass block, save his life. But Andrew Thomas actually started playing better. And I pointed this out before that if you have a weak inside guard with your left tackle, if that guard misses his assignments or misses where he's supposed to be doing, you are hanging your left tackle out to dry. And I pointed out numerous plays where Will Hernandez missed his assignment and Andrew Thomas was responsible for blocking 2 people. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going on right now with Evan Neal, because I do think Evan Neal is a little bit slow of foot still. I think he needs to be working. I think he needs to work on his back pedal, on his his footwork itself. And I think he needs to understand leverage because he comes up way too high and he leans way too forward when he blocks. And I think these are all things I think are coachable. But I also do think that a poor right guard play can also cause, and we're not even at 50 likes, but okay, that can cause your tackle to be hung out to dry. Now, one of the biggest things that I didn't get, Keith, last week was you saw Evan Neal and that sideline was having trouble.
Okay.
Why didn't they slide over Bellinger? Why didn't we have? Now, I know Saquon's not the best blocking back. Eric Gray can't block. I do think Matt Breida can block better, can block well enough. But why didn't the Giants at that point in time saw that we were leaking like a sieve on that sideline? Why didn't they move Bellinger? Why didn't they move the tight end over to help Evan Neal?
Tim, my problem with the Giants right now is in premier games, we have been out-coached. This is my problem, okay? Like you just said, why didn't we make any? I didn't see any real adjustments. Maybe they did. I'm not going to say that they didn't attempt any adjustments. I'm not going to say that because I don't know the facts on that. However, I mean, just from me looking at it, it just seemed like I didn't see any adjustments. Why didn't they hand the ball off in which was effective in the starting opening drive. I mean, I don't understand it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Let's
Why
go.
Why you don't run from contact? I don't understand.
I don't understand it. We'll be home in 20 minutes. Okay. We got 20 minutes, guys. My wife's going to be home in 20 minutes, and I'm going to grab the truck. Chris says, Tim, we are in trouble. That's about antiquing. Yes, I am. And Chris was right. I had one from Chris, and I talked about this. The Cardinals have a good defensive line. They had 6 sacks last week.
Right, which is scary.
Which is scary because I don't maybe it's me being naive, Keith, and maybe it is the kinder, gentler Tim, and maybe it's because I am still hungover from yesterday. I'm just not seeing the type of onslaught that we saw against Dallas. I think they went. I personally think it wasn't when the Giants left early. It wasn't to escape the New York media on Tuesday. I personally think it's because of the fact that they were going to revamp their game plan. Kind of go back to the 3-step drop, play action rollout, cut the field in half, give Daniel Jones only 2 options. One of the options is to run. The other option is to either throw it to the wide receiver or the tight end on that side of the field. Worked more on some check downs and run the ball. And I think maybe they effectively left a little early so they could just kind of reinstitute kind of a tooth. Did you just fall over? I heard something fall. I thought you fell over for a second.
Oh, no, that was my water bottle.
No, it's okay. I think maybe they went to just kind of reinstitute a similar game plan from last year because I think the Giants understand they need this win. There's not many must-win games during the second week of a season. But with the Giants' schedule,
right,
you got to take this game. There is nothing that you could say differently. They have to win. They have to win this game.
I mean, we talking about from a human element, confidence standpoint. Just from a confidence standpoint, they have to win this game.
Can you do one thing, Keith? Can you do one thing for me?
Sure.
Can you go? Just say it. We're talking about practice.
Yeah.
Say it.
We're talking about practice.
There you go. You sound just like Allen Iverson sometimes.
Oh, you are too much. See what I'm saying? He is too much.
Sometimes I love Allen Iverson because I've talked about it before. I'm a quasi Sixers fan because I'm only like 35 minutes away from the Wells Fargo Center. So I have season tickets and I sit courtside. And I remember back with Allen Iverson. I used to jaw back and forth with Allen Iverson. Nothing bad. It was always good fun. And Allen Iverson a couple times, even when he's now at Wells Fargo, still remembers me and comes over and says hello. And it's just
nice.
You actually sound like Allen Iverson.
No problem.
And I just had a moment there. Blackbird says just a 10-point win. Listen, I'll take just a 10-point win. And don't forget to let's get up to 60 likes. I got 20 minutes before the wife comes home and I got to buy furniture. So if I had liked, I would probably be okay going to get this furniture. I would probably be okay. I'm lying. Blackbird also says, I think the Giants can upset the 49ers. I don't think the Giants can upset the 49ers. They would something would have to go horribly wrong. Joey Bosa against this team is just a recipe for disaster. I'm already worried about the Arizona Cardinals defense.
Tim,
yes,
Tim,
sir.
you know what has me a concern, Tim?
What's
we were losing to backups, Tim. I'm not complaining, but I can't complain about what I've just seen, though. I'm not complaining, but I can't be concerned about what I've just seen. I understand we have to move on, but
at that point in time, though, it didn't matter. It didn't matter if we were losing the backups. It didn't matter if we were losing to Sister Mary of the Poor. It just didn't matter because
it scares me. With the Arizona Cardinals right now.
Beaten down. But I'm saying with the Arizona Cardinals, I think we got this. Zach Attack says, standout Andrew Thomas said he'll be a game time decision. Let's test it out to Sun. Here's the thing I got, for Giant fans. We're gonna have to do the giveaway. We have the Eli Manning replica Super Bowl ring. We're gonna give away for guess the score. I also have a towel from the opener and a B Giant T-shirt that I'm going to give away with the ring if someone guess the correct score. No one had 40-0. we're gonna start that in a couple minutes now.
You're right, Tim. You're right.
Yeah, nobody had that. Let's see. Mike Lee says no, it's putting a better face on it. Zach Attack says the Giants have elevated special teamers Taiwan Jones and O'Shane Zimenez from the practice squad. Nick says run. That should be the game tonight.
Right.
The Tribe said Kerry Collins is a goofball. Everyone knows he didn't have a snowball's chance in hell versus the Ravens. I love Kerry Collins. And I've told the story a million times before, and it's we did a test show. I did a test show for somebody, and we started talking about Kerry Collins, and I didn't get picked to do the show because of the fact that I said I didn't like Kerry Collins because he was a quitter because he gave up drinking. So evidently they did not find that funny. Blackbird says, I don't understand why the Giants stop running the ball on first. I don't understand why they didn't stop. I don't understand why.
Oh my goodness.
Zach Attack says, I like how people like Bobby Skinner, the armchair reviver, tried to break down the sacks Arizona had, despite the defense being the reason for the sacks by making Hal flustered. I don't know who Bobby Johnson is. I don't know who Bobby Skinner is. So I can't comment on that. I've said it before and I'll say it a million times. Unless you are I don't break down film. I've talked about how I ran the digital XOS replay system back in the early 2000s for 2 NFL franchises, and that was basically just film. Breaking down film, taking down components of film, cutting and editing. Because back in 2003, this was bleeding edge technology because at no time before had NFL teams had the ability to view practice film immediately through the internet and servers. And that's what I did. And I did that for a couple of years. And like I said, and I played, and I don't break down film because of the fact that I don't feel like I have the ability and the understanding to make, because I don't know the line shifts. I don't know who missed their assignment. I don't know the actual play. I don't know if there was an audible. I don't know who on the defense did what because I'm not in those locker rooms. So that's why I never break down film, because of the fact that it's just, unless you have Hall of Fame quarterback next to your name, or NFL quarterback or NFL offensive lineman. I always tell people, when you see someone on Twitter, or not Twitter, I guess on YouTube, break down film, just pass by it. Because of the fact that if they were actually good at doing that, they would be in the NFL. They would not be making YouTube videos. Blackbird says 7 10 round game for us. T-Brad says definitely sounds like him practice. See, T-Brad is right.
Oh my goodness.
Say it again. But say it like this. We're talking about practice.
We're talking about practice.
You got to get more emphasis on practice.
Practice.
There you go.
Practice.
T-Brad said it best. If you can't complain about 40-0 loss, what do you exactly can complain? That's a great point, T-Brad. If you can't complain about a 40-0 loss, what can you complain about? Razzle right. Super late,
Jeez,
but never last. Razzle the Great also threw in a score 31-17. G-Man in Arizona. Let's see here. Hey, Timothy, can the Giants beat the Cardinals? And I think they're going to beat the Cardinals. I think they're going to beat the Cardinals. Let's see. What does he say? Is that the old school quarterback, old school guy? Quarterback, old school guy. Zach Attack says, no, he is from Talking Giants. I'm not familiar. And Cream said, okay. All right, guys, my wife will be home in 8 minutes. And we're not at 60 likes. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to sit here and look manly. In this kind of gentler age, it's okay to be manly. You can be whatever you want to be. You can call yourself whatever pronouns you have. It's okay to be manly. Until we get to 60 likes, I'm just going to sit here. Of course, I'm also not refreshing. So I could be at 60 likes already, Keith. I have no fucking clue. We're at 59. 2 more to 60.
Tim, can I ask you a question real quick?
No. We have to wait.
I forgot. You're right. Yep.
We went down to 58.
Jeez,
Come on.
I forgot that quick. All
right, we're at 60.
Mount up.
Now you can talk. What do you got, Keith?
No. I apologize. I really forgot. You did say that. I forgot.
That's okay. What do you got? We're at 60 now.
Oh, okay. So, do you really believe? Really? And I'm asking Giant Nation. Do you believe Daniel Jones is the right quarterback for us moving forward? Do you believe that Daniel Jones, in the heat of pressure, is going to be able to stand up and take us to a Super Bowl? I'm just asking. I mean, really, and I'm not right now. I'm not asking as far like being condescending. I'm asking really because it's like I'm hurt by it. I am wounded. I'm like wounded right now by this everything that's been going on with Giant Nation. I'm asking you, Tim, in your humble opinion, what do you think?
Remain calm. All is well.
There you go. We'll be fine. I don't know yet. Let's see what happens today. Let's get into these scores right now because put your score in now. Winner, if to guess the score contest, will get the Eli Manning replica Super Bowl ring that we gave away last year. They will get a towel from the terrible towel from the Giants season opener, along with a B Giant T-shirt. It's an online Big Blue prize pack. And I also want to thank Allen Iverson for hanging out as long as he did today. It's awesome. Guilty says, enjoy the furniture. I'm always going to enjoy the furniture. Let's see here. I got some scores coming in. Razzle the Great says 31-17. G-Man in Arizona. We got AJ Marshall said, what's your score prediction? Giants 24-17. I'll give my score prediction in a minute. Zach Attack says, we got 2016 G-Men. They lean heavily on the run game with Barkley having 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Lee says no to Keith's question. Chris says no to Keith's question. Guilty says no as well. Calvin Alvarez says, Mr. Alvarez says hell no. Let's see. Blackbird says, I got off today's work because of the rain. That's cool. I wish if I had a job, I'd like to get off of. That'd be pretty cool. Chris says it's going to be 17-10 G-Men. Jeff Newman has 29 G-Men. Richard says, no, don't believe Daniel Jones. Too many defects. G-Men also says 23-20. Let's see. We haven't beaten the Cardinals in 12 years. I didn't know that. Is that true? Zach Attack, look that up. Have we not beat the Cardinals in 12 years? Mr. Marshall said it's going to be 24-10 G-Men. Richard says Giants 21, Zoe 17. Guilty's got it 24-10. Nick's got it 17-19 Giants. I need Tyrod Taylor to play, says the Zach Attack. Make sure you get your scores in. We got 4 minutes. You're going to get the Eli Manning replica Super Bowl ring, the terrible towel from the season opener, along with a extra large B Giant T-shirt, all from the opener. So make sure you get your scores in. You can have as many score guesses as you want. Keith, what is your score? We're at the end of the day here. What's your score?
21-10 Cardinals.
21-10 Cardinals. Oh, Keith.
I know. I'm sorry. It's my first time ever. You know, and I know I'm there's going to be a lot of people that's not going to like me now off the muscle. But listen, just know that I am the type of person that hates when I listen to pundits talk about how the Giants are going to lose during their prediction. And then after the Giants win, I go back and can't wait to see that pundit the next day or whenever they come back on to hear their excuse. But listen, I'm the type. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't really get into predictions too much. But I mean, that's what I'm going with right now. I'm sorry, Tim.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Let's see here. We got Isaiah Rodgers coming in 25-17 G-Men. Mike Lee says, if you missed, it's 21-17 G-Men on a late TD. DJ Levers will proclaim the Savior has arrived and lead us to the promised land. Blackbird says we're down 27-17 late in the fourth. Mr. Smith also coming 24-21. G-Men 23-20. We also have Blackbird also 21-17. We got Made by Giants. I agree somewhat. It could be 21-10. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised. I have the Giants in Survivor today. No buy-in, though. I am going to make my prediction now because I'm waiting until we hit 65 likes, but I'm going to make it now.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I'm going to go with this. I'm taking the G-Men. I'm going to go 27-19 because I like weird scores. And I think it's going to be close early. And then I think, to a lot of people's points, I think they're going to go back to ball control. I think the Giants are going to run. I think the Giants are going to have a day where they are just going to feed the rock to Saquon Barkley and just I think if they give it to him 497 times today, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think they're going to have to give him at least People forget back in the day, and this is how old I am, Keith. Back in 1983, when the Giants sucked and went 3-12-1, Butch Woolfolk set an NFL record of 43 carries for 159 yards, and that was a record for years. And I believe we beat Dallas in that game, and they just ran Butch into the ground. That I think in some ways it ruined his entire Giant career after that. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Saquon Barkley, that they're going to ruin his career, but I do think they are going to take. No, Joe Rev, you're not getting the hat. I think they are going to run him. And I think even when they go into the locker room for halftime, they are going to run him there as well.
But Tim, if you recall last season, the offense was running through Saquon Barkley, and the moment they took the offense away from Saquon Barkley, we started stumbling and bumbling into the playoffs.
We did, but you know what? We still made the playoffs and we still won that game. We got Joe Rev coming 23-19. No, not the hat. We also got 25-10 here. Mike Lee's laughing at 498 times. Rick says, let's see, Zona can't win at home and they should be continued. Hopefully, Zach Attack says, however, the last time the Giants beat the Cardinals was in 2011, score 31-27. That's why Zach is the unofficial producer of Online Big Blue Sports. I'm also known as the Googler. Made by
Nice.
Giants said, no choice. What do you got no choice with? You got to give us, you never gave us a score. Let's see. Made by Giants score. Agree someone. It'll be 21-10. Either way, I won't be surprised. But you gotta pick someone made by Giants. You gotta, this is the segment of the day. And I'm because you might be new, I'm gonna help you out here. Because it's the kinder, gentler Tim. When I say give me a score, that also means you got to say who's going to win. Balls of fire. Let's see. We have one more minute, Keith. One more minute here. Come on, let's get these scores. And we got the 65 likes. I want to really thank and appreciate everyone that came in today. I know you have other choices in reference to watching Giant content creators. And I'm always stunned when people stop at this channel. But I do want to thank everyone. It's been we've actually had a really good run these last couple of weeks in reference to gaining new viewers and getting well, I don't know what the hell you call it, more subscribers. So Blackbird says, what about 100-0 Giants? Blackbird, if the Giants win 100-0, I will give you Joe Rev's hat. I will give you the hat I will give you this hat that Joe Rev wants so badly. I will give you the hat if the Giants win 100-0. That's how confident I am on that one. All right. Has anyone got any other scores? Any other scores? Bueller? Anyone out there? Is there anybody out there? Let's see here. And everyone needs to just remember this. I understand for a lot of people.
It's my quarterback. And if you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
I think DJ will be fine. I don't think they're going to try to run him. I think they're going to run him. I don't think they're going to throw him. When you have a running back playing quarterback, the best thing to do is to run the ball. And I think I think that's what the Giants are going to be doing. I think that's just what they're going to do. Top two, Adrian B says top 2 for Giant content. Tim, don't be shocked. Top 2. Who's number 1? All right, Adrian B, I can't go anywhere until I find out who's number 1. And Keith has probably got shit to do, and he's going to just sit here and wait for me. Because I can get to 70 likes, I'm 4 away. Listen, guys, likes really help the channel. So subscribers and all that, but likes really help keep you in the analytics. So people are like, you're asking for likes a lot now. Yeah, because Blackbird, you just said Fisk Vegas. You just made me laugh. You just made me laugh. That just made my day. Miss Vegas, of course, hates me.
Fix Vegas.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I got nothing but love for everybody. And like I said, if you want to, Fist Vegas and them got a show. It's I think it's called the weekly show. It's the Mo and Ron show. So make sure you check that out. Zach Attack said number 1 is Mr. Authentic, I think, and it's not number 2. Liked. Let's see here. As a Dallas fan, I got the Giants winning 17-13. All right. Adrian says not Fist Vegas at all. All right. Is there any more scores? Any more scores? Come on, guys. You're going to get to hit 70 likes. Hit 70. We got one away. Hit 70. You're going to put in your score now. You are going to get Eli Manning replica ring, a towel from the Giant opener, and a B Giant t-shirt also from the opener if you guess the score correctly. So make sure if you want to score, hit the score. We're 1 like away from 70. Mike Lee says Fireside Giants. I don't remember which one Fireside Giants is. Does anyone remember which one? I don't remember which one Fireside Giants is. Which one is that? Does anyone? Bueller? Which one's Zach Attack? Which one's Zach always helps me with giant content creators. Zach, which one is Fireside Giants? Black and White says, I've seen the Cowboy fans. They wish me his condolences. Adrian says, I like Big Dash coming, but you guys are authentic and knows a lot about history without being biased. I love Big Dash. I've had Big Dash on the side. I've had Big Dash on the show. I was promoting Big Dash before Big Dash was Big Dash.
Yep, you was.
So
you was.
There's, it's funny. I try to promote people, certain content creators, and then they want to get in the cool kid clique, and then they just leave me. They just abandon me. Yeah,
no, I remember that. I remember you doing that, Tim.
Yeah, I love Big Dash. I had Big Dash on when he had 500 subscribers. Let's see. Tennis player. Thank you, Zach Attack. Zach Attack says Fireside, Fire Hide. I like it better. Is the tennis players. Okay, now I know which one it is. It's bad enough that I know what it is. Richard comes in strong with Arizona 20-16. I'm definitely Ron Effect. I'm not gonna get into the giant content creators because I'm just me. You like me, you hate me. It is what it is. It's all good.
Tim, the funny thing is, Tim is probably the only one who has actually played the game, right? And this is why I come to Tim's channel. Tim played the game. And when I want to get serious analytics from what is going on, from what I just seen, so it can make sense. And, Tim is able to make it make sense for the layman who probably does not understand all of the nuances that goes on and is involved what's going, in the field of play. But Tim has played the game. Tim knows what it takes. He's also been involved with higher level teams in their organizations. Tim knows what's going on. So, as far as him being biased, listen, everybody has their, who they, want to go for. But Tim is very, very refreshing, innovative, and charismatic. So you got to love it.
Ooh, charismatic. I like that. It's better than loudmouth asshole. I like charismatic.
Hey, you won't be a New Yorker if you don't have that attribute. Also.
Chris wants to know, is the wife home? Yes, she is. She just brought me coffee. She just brought me a cup of coffee. And I had my first cup of coffee. Well, actually my third cup of coffee. Or my fourth, I don't remember. And then she brought me, there's a restaurant not too far from us. Actually, it's pretty far from us. It's called Turning Point. I don't know. I think it's a franchise type thing, but they make a great breakfast. And they make awesome coffee. So my wife evidently brought me some coffee from Turning Point because this is going to be my my treat for having to go pick up a couch. But it's good coffee, though. All right, I got to run through these. Let's see here. No, Joe Reb says not to have. We got John Kirk saying 24-16 Giants. And of course, Chris, yes, Mrs. Online Big Blue is in his house. JJ, what's up? What's up, fellas? I'm in Phoenix getting ready to watch the game. Go Giants. JJ, why are you not going to the game? Made by Giants as I play too. I just need to start making videos. But yes, Tim, this is exactly why I like Tim's channel. Oh, okay. All right. Well, now I like Made by Giants. If you're looking for a great up-and-coming content creator, it's Made by Giants. See, look at that. Blades and says Giant rumors and news by Chat Sports. I don't know that one. Zach Attack, which one are those? I don't know that one. Razzle the Great says Ron was on the first giant content creators I ever watched. He went to Mr. Authentic, then the Bad Dog and the Chris, but they just cover the games. They don't go into depth in the X's and O. Well, I think Chris and Bad Dog are more fan channels. Like, and it's not a bad thing. It's just more ranting, and this is what they're gonna do. I don't think I love Bad Dog. I've been on Bad Dog's show a couple times, but I think they're more fan-esque. Geared toward the fan, and that's fine. I think it's like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Daryl Smith says Tim is the only John Tan creator I follow. That's why Daryl is so smart. Blackbird 2 years ago looking for the Giants first pass live stream game, and I've been subbed ever since. And I appreciate you back. Blackbird, you and I have gone at it a couple times. we agree to disagree. We don't always agree, but I love the fact that you do always come back, and I think you are one of those people. And there's a large number of people, because some reason almost 12,000 people subscribe to this crap. That you understand that I'm not personally going after you, and I'll let you know when I'm personally going after you. But I don't personally go after you as long as you're respectful, as long as you have an opinion, as long as you have an opinion that's validated in reality. And so I always said, people, I think one of the greatest things about this channel is we can agree to disagree on so many different things. And it's okay as long as everyone is respectful for each other. Let's see here. Blazin says, I heard honest, no nonsense talk. I listened to Tim, authentic, and Big Dash. Chat made by Giants. Throw your link in the chat. Go ahead. Blazin says, Chat Sport is with Marshall Green. He's somewhere out of Texas. Wears early 2000s headsets. Looks like Mission Control. I don't know that one. I really don't know that one. Zach, which one is that? I would be lost with it. I truly would be lost without Zach Attack. That's why he is the Googler. Says Tim, any thoughts on the unlikely event we lose this game? What would it look like if we started 0-2? It would look really bad. It would not be good. We're at 70 likes. Can I get 75 while I finish this warm cup of coffee from Turning Point, one of the greatest restaurants ever? Keith, you got anything to say?
Oh, yes. I just would like to say, no, I would like to say that I don't want the, Giants Nation to think that I am going against my team. That's still my team. Yes, sometimes you get upset with your team. We've been through it, but I love New York. I love the New York Giants. Most importantly, I love the New York fans, and I love the New York fans because we stick with our team no matter what. We know what it takes. We hardworking, and I love you all. I really do. And go Big Blue. I hope Daniel Jones step up. It's just that he has not been producing lately in my eyes, but I hope Daniel Jones step up. I hope the whole team step up and go Big Blue. And thank you, Tim.
I just got to say it about you, man.
I don't know what the fuck you just said, little kid, but you special, man. You reached out and you touched it by the heart.
Sorry, man.
You have some sound effects for everything. That is so unique, man.
Wow, I always do. Rick Liz, I love Vic something rant after the hilarious, horrendous loss. I don't know Vic's hey Macarena. I don't know who that guy is. Let's see. Inspirational says Chat Sport is actually pretty good. I always watch Tim and Chat Sport. I don't know who Chat Sport is. ESPN is a fan channel. That's good. I think that in Chat Giant. Oh, okay. My Giant video, Brandon Jacobs hit 30K, says made by chance. Now you're just fucking showing off. Take your link out of my fucking chat. Yeah, man, I'm just kidding. Hopefully you know the channel long enough. Great. Backler says, yes, we have. I appreciate your content, your stuff, and the other gigantic creators don't see you go off on facts. I appreciate that.
Right. That is the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. I love Tim for that. But go ahead.
Montana says, hey, Montana, man. Where you been at, Montana, New York? Making some great music. For those that don't know, find his channel. Listen to some great bluesgrass music. Good morning from Montana. I just woke up. What time do the Knicks start? I don't know what time the Knicks start. Couple months.
We looking for basketball season already, right?
Razzle the Great says, let's go Giants family. Blackfish says, Jones didn't play well last week at all. Brazen says, Brazen says, Chat Sport is 70% clickbait with a lot of rumor mill stuff. Zach, where the hell did you go? I don't know who Chat Sport is. Zach Attack, where are you? He is going to lose the title as the unofficial producer of Online Big News. Mike Lee says, being realistic is not anti-giant. Thank you, Mike Lee. Mike Lee says, to Keith's point, being realistic is not anti-giant, despite what some people say.
Thank you, Mike. Really, thank you. It makes me feel better.
and Made by Giants, could you please put your YouTube page thing in? Because I can't find you. I went on YouTube and I can't find you. I can't find Made by Giants. So could you put it in there so I could see your channel? I'm looking here. I can't You know, aliens are real, so why can't Bigfoot be real? Well, I'm just looking at. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find Made by Giants, and there's this thing that came up about Bigfoot. Oh, Made for Giants, or is it made? No, that's Made for Giants. I can't find you, dude. I can't find you. Help me out. Razzle Great said Vic is a comedian from Long Island. He's a great comedic rant about losing losses, but both the Yankees and Giants. I didn't know that. Okay. Chris says you can't criticize the truth. DJ and the Giants are what they are right now. And Montana says he loves the show. All right, guys, we're at the 7. Can we just get that last like so I can finish this great coffee and go pick up my couch?
The missus is probably sitting there with her arms folded, like,
you know what? I have to say this about Mrs. Online Big Blue, and there's not we've gone down to 57 people in the room, but I'll say this about Online Big Blue, and Mike Lee always has something funny to say about her. But honestly, if it wasn't for her patience, she would not let me continue to do this Sunday show.
Right.
So it is the patience of Mrs. Online Big Blue which actually keeps this Sunday show on, because if she did not have the patience for this wouldn't happen. So let's all give a big
thank you, Miss Online Big Blue, because we would lose our mind without Tim sometime.
Let's get 4 more likes to Mrs. Online Big Blue and let's get out of here, because like I said, I've quit this YouTube at least 497 times. And if it wasn't for her saying, don't quit, don't do this, don't do that, because I always have other projects going on, and sometimes it just becomes a little bit of a it's like I said, the comments don't bother me. It just sometimes it gets I have kids, and it takes away. And that's why certain content creators, I understand, who have kids, and I know certain content creators that look like they'll never have kids. And yes, that was not the kinder, gentler Tim, but there are just, it's just life. And it wasn't for her patience, and it wasn't for her ability to sit there and say, yes, you go to the games, you go broadcast, you go do all the things that you want to do for the Giants channel, and don't quit for the wrong reasons. And she is truly the one that keeps everything going. So,
I was pissed when you was talking about you were going to quit. I was like, what? I genuinely was. And then you were saying that you had another show, and I'm like, okay. And then I seen it one time. I'm like, oh, okay. So he's still on a little bit. Yeah. I'm so serious.
Yeah, no. And honestly, it was her that told me, and it was her that told me to come back. She was like, you quit for the wrong reasons. You need to come back, and you need to do it. So let's get these last ones, because Mike Lee is right. Mike Lee knows it. She's a saint. Daryl says, thank you, Mrs. Online Big Blue. Chris also thanks it. Made for Giants says, Made for Giants. I'm telling you right now, I need your damn link. Is there something with the hard of hearing going on here? Isaiah says, Tim, if we beat the Cardinals and Niners, what would be our playoff chances be? If you beat the Cardinals and the Niners at home on the road and then come home, more than likely we'll probably lose to Seattle, because it is a Thursday night. It was a Thursday night game, Seattle, or is that just no? Seattle's a Sunday night game. I mean, is it a Monday? No, it's Seattle. I think is a Monday night game. That would be typical Giants. But I think our chances go up exponentially if we win the next 2 games. We're already at 77 likes, and I got to go get furniture. I wanted to get to 80, but that's okay. It's all right. Our anniversary was yesterday, and she wanted 80 likes for her anniversary. But if you guys don't want to do it, then that's fine with me. I'll just tell Mrs. Online you didn't think she was worth it.
It's too much.
As I brought coffee, as she brought me coffee. Mr. Cortez Smith says, why don't we pass under standard passing? I know it's a concept, but it gets the ball out faster. I don't know. Hopefully we're going to have a lot of corrections. All right, guys, we are going to get out of here. Keith, don't go anywhere. When I thank you, Chris. It actually really wasn't our anniversary yesterday.
You got it, Tim.
But don't go anywhere yet, Keith. Stay on, because I'm going to close out the show. We're going to close out the show now.
You got it.
58 likes. We got Keith, Mr. Warzone. If you don't know his videos, go find him. You'll go find him under Mr. Warzone. He does a lot of good Giant contest stuff and a lot of other stuff. And we are going to close this show out right now. This is Tim. This is New York Giant Straight Talk with Mr. Warzone. And don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell, because you want to know why? That'd be awesome. Rick says 80's coming.